say hi to me?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay, now so that shows that everyone can hear me. So first, sorry for actually joining quite late because I actually have to still keep up with job and take the section. So that was my reason for joining late. My sincere candid apology. And thank you also for being there notwithstanding. So just like the convener said, today we'll be looking at itinerary, flight itinerary, hotel itinerary, trip itinerary, how you can go about planning all of that, and the basic informations or facts you actually need to know about itinerary, right? So first, we are going to start with what is an itinerary. Now, when we talk about itinerary in in its simplicity is just talking about a travel plan. So that is what itinerary is all about. So when we get to talk about itinerary is in its simplest form rather, it's simply a travel plan. So it's a common phenomenon or a common practice that for every time people want to embark on a journey, for every time you actually want to embark on anything, let's say you want to go on an adventure, you want to go for a business meeting or whatsoever, as long as you believe in your abode, believe in the comfort of your house, you do need a plan. So that plan that you are putting in place or you are trying to set aside to actually see that you effectively achieve or get to actualize your set goal for that particular trip or for that particular journey, for that particular adventure is actually what is known as itinerary. So for every time the word itinerary comes to mind, what should also come to mind is a trip plan. And that's why in most cases we have the trip planner. We'll still talk about that and all. So it's pre-believed that before anybody embarks on any journey, he or she needs a plan. For instance, when do you intend to travel? First, where are you going to? Where are your current destination, your current location, your next destination? You just have to have all of those things in place because if you don't get to have all of those things, you actually will not know the right ticket to buy or the right hotel services to go for or the right places to visit. So the first approach is you just have to understand you must have a plan. You must have a plan of everything you need to do in the course of the trip. So, without much ado, we are going to look at flight itinerary now. Then, after that, we look at hotel itinerary, how to plan them. Then, we now go further to look at trip itinerary. Because outside your flight itinerary, your hotel itinerary, there's also a trip itinerary. A trip itinerary is also known as a trip planner, right? Because if, for instance, if you want to visit a particular country, let's say South Africa, for instance, now South Africa is a country. You can't be visiting South Africa. You are visiting a city in South Africa. Someone who is coming to Nigeria, for instance, will be coming to a city in Nigeria because there are no such places called Nigeria when you are trying to plan an itinerary. You plan an itinerary in retrospect to cities So we are going to also look at all of that now. So, but first, we will be looking at flight itinerary. So we get to tell us all we need to know about planning a flight itinerary, then some of the rules that applies, how you too can start your own flight portal, how you can have a portal where people can buy flight tickets from you and you get to issue tickets on their behalf. Then moving away from there, we are going to look at hotel, how to plan hotel itinerary, what are some of the basic rules that applies when planning hotel itinerary, and how you too can go from learning how to plan to start selling hotels globally. Now, after that, now we'll now look at trip planner or trip itinerary, how you can plan trips itinerary or how you can plan a trip for visa success. So, without much ado and without taking our time, I just want to advise you listen with all keen interest and pay the very best of attention. Listen so rapidly, take notes where you need to take notes And I just want to believe at the end of today's section, time will be allotted to us to actually ask questions. So you can actually take note of questions as well. So I'll be sharing my screen now while we go over flight itinerary. So just give me a moment to share my screen. Thank you.
No, yes, we can see.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. So now where we are now, it's actually an OTA platform. And OTA, when we talk about OTA, OTA means online traveling agency, or an OTA portal, which simply means a portal where you can actually buy flight tickets. Is that correct? Right? So that is what an OTA means. So in trying to actually understand flight itinerary and how to go about them, we are going to be using this website, and I think there are some returning students in the class. Okay, yeah, I think Mr. Godwin Iro is a returning participant. Mr. Isaac is also a returning participant. Mrs. Ogechi Ajare is also a returning participant. So in this section, we are not using Trustify website. We are going to use Mr. Godwin Iro. I think that is Ace Skies, correct. So we are going to be using a different portal for that. So one of the participants in today's section actually has his own online portal, just like every other person in the group. Some of the returning participants. So we'll be using this instead. So this is what we'll be using instead. So now let's get started so properly. Now, first and foremost, I did say now that when we talk about itinerary is just a plan, a travel plan. That's what an itinerary is. And when we talk about flight itinerary, a flight itinerary is simply a detailed plan that outlines all aspects of a traveler's journey. Do you see that now? So what actually gives you a visual model or a visual picture of every aspect of a traveler's journey is a flight itinerary. And a flight itinerary includes the flight details, right? And it also gets to tell you the date. So when we talk about flight details, the name of the airline, right? Because when you actually want to board from one destination to another destination by air, for instance, someone is traveling from Lagos, Nigeria, to Johannesburg, or Johannesburg has been properly called in South Africa, needs to get there by air. So if you are going by air, how do you go there? Certainly you need airline. And by statistics, there are 774 registered airlines in the world. Do you see that now? But in as much as we got several airlines, each of these airlines have their specific destinations. There are certain destinations that some airlines go to. There are certain destinations certain airlines don't go to. Do you get that now? And some of these airlines or some of those flights are nationally owned in the sense that they are owned by some government, the government of certain nations, while some are owned by individuals. For instance, for a few Nigerians who are in the section, when I say Air Peace, okay, let me just ask someone at random. Now, Air Peace is a flight carrier, right? It's also a carrier. Okay, let me ask someone. Olajide, can you hear me? Olajide, can you hear me? Okay, Olajide can't. I just want to believe maybe he's not available. Okay, let me use Akintola Joan. Akintola Joan, can you hear me? Okay, I still want to. Akintola, if you can hear me, I just want to ask you a question. Akintola, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I'm just starting to see the screen now.
Okay, it's fine.
Yes.
Great to see you, Mom.
Great to see you, Mom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you've been
Okay.
hearing me a
So
little
if you've
bit
been hearing me a
earlier,
little bit earlier,
Yes.
I was actually talking about some flight carriers.
carriers.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So Air Peace,
Yeah.
is
So
it owned by
Airpeace, is
Nigerian
it owned by
government or
Nigerian
it's owned by
government or it's
individual?
owned by individual?
Sorry, please, can you come again?
Okay, the airline
Okay,
Air
the
Peace.
airline Airpeace.
Airpeace, yes, Nigerian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
by
it's a
Nigerian.
Nigerian
It's a
owned
Nigerian
airline. Yeah.
owned
Okay, it's
airline.
owned
Yeah.
by
Okay, it's owned
Nigerian.
by Nigeria.
Is that
Yes, sir.
correct?
Is that
It-
correct?
Okay.
Yes, sir. It is.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you. Thanks.
Okay, now so just
Okay,
like
now, so
Akintola
just
said
like
that, so
Akintola said that,
So now flights in the sense that there are about 774 airlines in the world, and some are nationally owned, some are individual owned. For instance, the Virgin is owned by an individual, right? Now, Air Peace is owned by an individual in a particular nation, while some are owned by the nation. For instance, Kenyan Air, Ethiopian Air, and the likes. Good. So now, when we talk about flight itinerary, just like I stated earlier, it's a detailed outline that actually shows every aspect of a traveler's journey, consisting of the flight details. Now, when we talk about flight details, it's not just the airline, it tells you the airline number because Air Peace have more than one airline. So when you are boarding Air Peace, the itinerary will tell you the exact airline of Air Peace or which of the airline flights you are boarding, right? So if you're also doing same for the British Airways, it has a specific number. We are going to see all of that together. And it also shows you the dates because every trip should have a date. It should have a start date and an ending date. Okay. When do you intend to take this trip? Okay, I intend to travel on the 16th of September. Now, when do you intend to return? I intend to return on the 30th of September. So every itinerary must have a date and every itinerary must have a time. Now, what actually makes flight itinerary so unique, it's time bound, it's time based. You don't just go anytime you like, right? You don't just assume, okay, for instance, if I board a bus, yeah, I could remember when I was in Nigeria, I sometimes we use Peace Mass Transit when traveling. Now, if it comes to, let's say, a bus terminus or yeah, a motor park, you don't need to be specific on time. All you need is just to try your best to catch the first flight. Sorry, the first bus. So if the first bus leaves by 7, that does not actually mean to be leaving by 7 because sometimes they might not get passengers till 9 a.m. So you just have to be waiting. So that's not a well-defined itinerary. Every right itinerary is time bound, whether it be hotel or whether it be trip, or whether it be trip, or whether it Okay, I think we got another feedback. Sorry to that. So now it must have a time. So that's why when it comes to flight, you go find out that for someone who is traveling to, let's say Toronto, for instance, and is using Ethiopian Air, now you'll get to find out that Ethiopian Airline, maybe Airbus 321, will be leaving at 10:30 p.m. Yeah, so it has time. So if you don't get there before check-in, you to some extent will actually get to miss your flight. Yeah, so most persons get to miss their flight by not keeping to time. And that's why it's always advised for every time you are boarding, you should be around 3 hours before departure. So even some airlines allow 24 hours check-in. Yeah, some airlines. So for instance, KLM will tell you come 24 hours time. United Airlines will tell you come 24 hours time so that you can actually check in, but that does not necessarily mean you stay around the airport in 24 hours. But if you have the time, then you can. But in order for you not to miss your flight, because airlines are time bound, right? Although airlines like Air Peace keeps changing their time. Yeah, there's always changes in time. So a flight is to leave by 11 a.m. They sometimes to shift it to 1 p.m. as the case may be. So, but every itinerary must have a time. So when you are also preparing an itinerary, when you're also trying to get a flight itinerary for your clients, you also have to ask some of those questions. That's why before we even delve into practical sections to see how we to do all of those things, the first thing to ask your clients is first, where are you going to? Yeah, because if you don't know where they're going to, you will not know what information to help them with, right? So you have to know where they're going to. Then you have to know when they want to go. So now, when you are trying to prepare flight itinerary, every standard flight itinerary must have the following. We are going to the practical section where we'll see all of these things, right? Because if the itinerary doesn't have the following, then that itinerary will not be likened to be a valid itinerary. You get that none. So we just have to ensure that we get everything to right. So if we actually want to get something working or something that's going to get us success, we must adhere to the following. Now, the following in what sense? The component of a flight itinerary as follows. So we are going to look at each of them. then I'll place emphasis and I'll give clauses on what to always remember. Okay, one of the basic components of a flight itinerary is traveler's information, right? So now the traveler's information is the first. Now we're talking about traveler's information. What does it entail? It entails the following: full name of the passenger as it appears on the passport. Do you see that now? So now the full name. But in totality, the only name that counts is the surname, the last name. So even if you don't want to write the entirety of the passenger's name, the surname is enough. But in most cases, write first name and surname. So every itinerary must carry the following. First, it must have the traveler's information. So, and traveler's information here includes full name as it appears on the passport. And let me get to give us a clause. If you get to spell the name wrongly, if you spell the first name wrongly, no issue. If you spell the middle name wrongly, no issue. But if you spell the surname wrongly, you got a real big issue because you have to buy that ticket again. Do you see that? So in all of your endeavors, while trying to get flight tickets for your clients, for some of us who have our own OTA portal already, in doing all of those things, you mustn't forget the golden rule. The golden rule is never make the mistake of spelling your client's name wrongly, especially your client's surname, correct? Now, still on the flight, the traveler's information. Now, the contact information as well has to be documented, like the passenger's phone number and the passenger's email. So why do we collect phone numbers and email? So as to reach out to the passenger if there will be changes in flight. Example of such changes are time change. Usually there are no date change, right? What exists in most cases are time change. So maybe your flight was scheduled for 5 p.m., but something has changed. The airline has to leave by 3 p.m. So the airline must have informed you several hours before now, maybe a day before. But you say that that's not so. But if you don't enter the client's phone number or the client's email, or you don't enter your own phone number or your own email, there's apparently no how the client will get information on all of these changes. Sometimes a particular airline, maybe Ethiopian, maybe 321, for instance, might not be what that will be conveying the passengers. Maybe they had some technical issues or some aeronautic checks and it was not found airworthy, so they needed to change the flight. So now, but in the case where informations like this were never provided, no phone numbers, no emails, how will the client be able to get all of those changes, right? Sometimes there could even be date change. Yeah, date change. If date change is done by the airline, you can sue the airline, right? Yeah, you can sue airline and collect some dividend on what is known as time loss. Yeah, time loss because you were supposed to travel on 22nd for a friend's wedding, and the airline is now telling you that low, sorry, you won't be able, we are not going to 22nd anymore. After you must have purchased the ticket, we are not traveling on the 30th. No, come on, you gotta be wasting time because you can't even attend the wedding, which is coming up on the 24th because the airline claims are going on the 30th. So in most cases, if there are date changes, you're entitled to sue the airline. If there are time changes, you can sue the airline too. And they have to pay you for the damage because you got a meeting to attend for 5 p.m. and your flight was scheduled for 3 p.m. and the flight duration is just an hour. So you intend to get to your destination by 4 p.m. and take note and make some arrangement before your meeting. And yet the airline is telling you that we are shifting it to 5 p.m. Now they're disrupting your meeting, they're affecting your time, so you can sue them. And in most cases, for such changes, you can request for a refund. Sure, the airline will gladly give you. But in the case where date changes are done by you, for instance, you were supposed, okay, you traveled on the 22nd, maybe some political unrest, national unrest, some sort of disaster, man-made disasters like war, some industrial actions like strike or some tribunal court orders, some restraining orders preventing people to move out on that particular day you were supposed to return. So you do a date change. You can still change your date. And it's worthy of you to note that when you miss your flight, it's not a totality because the lifespan of every ticket is 1 year. Did you see that? So it means, okay, I was supposed to travel, let's say, Lagos to maybe France. So I was supposed to get to Paris, that's Lagos to Paris. There's no such itinerary as Nigeria to France. There are no such itinerary because you can't actually say you are traveling from Nigeria to France. Is that correct? You must be traveling in a city in Nigeria, an international airport in Nigeria. So it could be Abuja, it could be Port Harcourt, it could be Lagos. So now, if you're traveling from Lagos to Paris, right? Now, and maybe now you're in Paris, you're supposed to return on a particular date back to Lagos. Maybe there's a lockdown, there's a restraining, there's some sort of curfew. Yeah, I could remember someone who was supposed to travel during the time where they were doing the protest in Nigeria. So she was supposed to return back to Manchester, but because of the protest, now it's pre-believed that the airport was shut, so the clients were not able to fly. So what we need to do is called date change. So we have to get a new date, right? So that's what date change means. So every itinerary must carry the traveler's information, which encompasses the client full name as it appears on the passport, contact information as well. Now, the next is the flight details. Every itinerary must carry the flight details. And when we get to talk about flight details, we talk about airline name and flight number. I did say that earlier. So the itinerary must have the airline name. Now, imagine someone buys a ticket and there is no airline. So he or she gets to the airport. So, where are you going, madam? She said, I'm going to Ottawa in Canada. Okay, now which airline? Because every airline has their terminal. We'll see get to talk about terminal. So there's a place to be, there's where you're supposed to be to actually join a particular flight. Now he said, I have my ticket. He said, any airline. That's not possible because, in as much as there could be more than one airline that are going to a destination, doesn't mean all of them will leave at the same time or leave on the same day, right? So that is why the itinerary must carry the airline name and the flight number. So, in as much as carrying the airline name, Ethiopian Air, for instance, the flight number has to be there, right? And the next now is departure and arrival airports. Yeah, that has to be included. Departure and arrival airport. Yeah. So there must be departure, there must be arrival. Now, let me give us an instance. Now, during the times or the days where the Peace Airline were now coming to United Kingdom. Now, you all should know that Peace Flyer Peace doesn't go to London. Flyer Peace doesn't go to Manchester. Flyer Peace only goes to Gatwick, Surrey in United Kingdom. So you get that now. So that is actually where it goes to. So now, is it better now? Is it better now?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay, great. Great.
Yes, it's fine.
Awesome. Yeah, so the case study is someone actually wants to go, she wants to go to Manchester, right? And there was this time that they said, AirPods just started going to London and they're cheap. So she bought AirPods. AirPods only goes to Gatwick, doesn't go to Heathrow, right? So she got to Gatwick and she was like, why am I here? I'm supposed to be in Heathrow. So every airline has departure and arrival airports. There are more than one airport in the country. Most nations have more than one international airport. For instance, Nigeria has Abuja, Nnamdi Azikiwe at Abuja, has Murtala Mohammed, Lagos has Port Harcourt Airport. So the itinerary should carry the departure. Departure is where are you leaving? For instance, LAS for Los Angeles International Airport, or LOS for Murtala Mohammed International Airport, or ABV for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Do you understand that now? And the names of the airports have to be in the itinerary. Now, the next is departure and arrival date and time. So the itinerary must have arrival date, must have arrival time. So what date are you leaving? What time are you getting to your destination and all? Do you get that now? So that should be contained in the itinerary. right? That should be contained in the itinerary. Now, the next thing that every flight itinerary should carry is the terminal information. I already talked about terminal, right? So what's terminal with the clients go to? Because there are more than 11 terminals at the new Murtala Mohammed International Airport. So you can't just be everywhere. You can't be everywhere. You have to be somewhere. There's a terminal where you have to stay before you go to board. So you can't just, okay, I've bought my ticket. I know I'm going with British Airways. You just have to be somewhere. In as much as you are Murtala Mohammed Airport does not mean you will fly, right? You have to go for check-in so that they can check your information and check your bags in and all, right? So you have to be somewhere. Now, some airports have multiple terminals, correct? Knowing the correct terminal is crucial for smooth travel. There are a few persons who have actually missed their flight in most cases simply because they don't know the terminal, right? I will share my screen. I'll show you an example of a ticket, right? So that you see everything in it, embedded in it. So the terminal have to be there, including, okay, let's talk about the next component of a flight itinerary. The next is layovers and connection. Yeah. So when we talk about layover duration is the time between connecting flights, because there are certain destinations when you want to embark them, there could not be direct flight from your country or from the city where you are boarding. So you have to get to a particular destination before going to another destination. Never forget this rule. Every airline must get to its home country or must get to its partnering country before connecting. What do I mean? Ethiopian Airline must get to Addis Ababa. Air France must get to Paris. KLM must get to Netherlands, Amsterdam. Never forget this, right? Now, for every flight you board, British Airways must go back to London. Do you see that now? So you just have to have that rule. Note that every airline will go back to its home country. So TAG Angola must get back to Luanda because that's home country. It has to go back to its home country. So now there are certain destinations you want to undertake. We'll see all of those things in pictures shortly. There are certain destinations you want to undertake rather, or your clients wants to undertake that you will need more than one airline. So now the next is the layover duration. So layover duration is the waiting time between the time you are lighted from one flight to the time you are joining another flight for your departure. So that is the layover time. So the layover time, in its simplicity, is the time between connecting flights. We are going to see that. The next is connecting airports. So connecting airports, yeah, is the airport where a traveler will transfer from one flight to another, correct? Because if someone is going to Lisbon in Portugal, for instance, now you're using TAG Angola, right? The first thing is from the time you board at Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, you have to go straight down to Luanda. Now, from Luanda, the Luanda airport will be stated on your itinerary. Now, you get another airline that takes you from Luanda to Lisbon in Portugal. So, all of that will actually be stated. All of that will be stated. So, that is just to give you a picture. Now, the next is the gate information, right? The gate information will be included. Now, the gate information, what the gate information does is to tell you the specific gate where you should be, right? We are going to see that. Now, the very next thing that comes is the class of service. Now, the class of service actually for every men are in sizes and life is in phases. So the sizes of men actually distinguishes their class, right? So your itinerary will tell your class. Because imagine if you're kind of itinerary with no class. Everybody will just run to first class, right? So everybody will try to go to first class. But for you to be on the first class, you need to buy the first class ticket. You need to buy a first class ticket. And on your itinerary, to be stated first class. So now the checking officers who are going to check you to your seat will, on getting your seat, even while they are checking you in, they know you're a first class passenger. They understand that. So that is a class. So the class in which the traveler is booked is called the class of service. And we have economy, we have premium economy, we have business, and then we have the first class. Do you see that now? So your class also determine your seats. Yeah. And the services that comes with it. Do you get that now? We'll get to look at special services shortly. So the class you are boarding or the passenger is boarding tells where the passenger will sit and the services that comes with it. Now the next is baggage information. Your flight itinerary will tell the number of baggages you're allowed to carry. So the number of bags allowed, their weight limit, and if you exceed that weight limit, any additional fees for excess baggage. Yeah, all of that will be stated. You will see all of that in your itinerary. So now in the case where your itinerary says one piece, it simply means you're only permitted to carry a baggage that is just one baggage, and the weight of the baggage will be calculated, which is 23 kg. Now, for most international airlines, it's 23 kg. For most local airlines, it's 20 kg. Do you understand? Local in this sense, I simply mean domestic airlines. So you also have to check for the baggage allowance. Because if you go to buy an itinerary or you get a ticket for your client with no baggage, and your client needs to carry bag, mind you, the cost of adding additional bags goes from $80 to $250. Do you see that now? So if you get a ticket with no bag, and your client said, "Oh, why is there no bag in this?" So you have to, if you miss the chances of adding a bag, you don't have to panic. You can still add bags later. Because for instance, the airline allows two pieces. Two pieces here simply means you can carry 23 kgs, two pieces of 23 kg. Now the client is actually migrating, let's say from his home country to a new country. No, he or she has to take a whole lot of stuff. So you have to buy extra bags or you need to pay for extra bags or the extra luggage, right? So now you can see add bags. All of that will be taught. Now the next is special instructions. Under baggage information, the itinerary also tells you information about the items you should carry, restricted items, and any special handling for oversized luggage, right? So the itinerary tells you all of this. Now, the next thing to also look out for is special services. Yeah, the itinerary can also carry special services. Now, when it comes to airline, there are actually special services you can get. Now, example special services include meal preferences, a vegetarian, a lacto-vegetarian, or an halal. When I get to mean halal, halal persons who actually eat only halal meals. So now, okay, if you're an halal person, you're not cool with veggies, so you have to indicate. So those are special service. But mind you, when they say special service, they are not free. Some are free, some are not free. You have to pay for them. For instance, it's popular belief that for a few times, if you board airpiece, let's say Abuja to Lagos, some of us who have actually undertook such trip, you get to come to agree with me that they'll give you a bottle water and some snacks. Yeah, I believe snacks, right? So for economy class now. So now, but if you want a meal, you actually want fried rice and chicken, sure, you can pay for it and they'll deliver it to you while on board the flight. So those are special services. Other special services, wheelchair assistance. So people who have difficulties walking or moving, they can add wheelchair to their service, right? And all of that to be taken care of. Wheelchair assistants are generally free to actually aid people who had one or two walking deficiency. They understand that. And they also have some braille sticks you can also add. For instance, for those who are blind and they need some ability, some vision ability, some sort of vision aid, you can also add that. But not every airline has that. But wheelchair is available on all airlines. Now, if you want to request special meal preferences, you can actually do that. And you can also get special services to seating arrangements. Let's assume you are a travel vlogger, someone who makes videos on travel. So you want to see it by the window that on your own. But if you don't get to add seats, you'll still be given seats, but you might not be given your own preferred seats. You'll just be given any seats. But this does not happen for the first class. Now, the next information to remember is additional information. The most important aspect of your itinerary is the PNR. Yeah. The validity of your itinerary is a PNR. So every itinerary has booking reference. The booking reference is also known as the PNR, and PNR stands for passenger name record. For some of us who are IATA program, you have idea what the PNR simply means. So when we talk about the PNR simply stands for passenger.
Hello.
Okay, these are the system works. If you get to buy tickets from any OTA platform, a PNR will be generated. We are going to see that, right? Now, when it's generated, then with that PNR, you can check for the validity. So now, if you buy tickets either as a client or as an agency, when you issue tickets for your staff, and so it's to your client, on behalf of your client rather, now you can still check the validity of the ticket, right? Okay, I heard of an incident. One of our B2B partners who also had the Trustfy white label that issued tickets, sold tickets earlier. Now, when the ticket was sold, the clients got to the airport and the clients could not fly. So what was the case? The clients could not fly, not because the ticket was not valid. It's simply because the clients missed the time. So the flight was scheduled for 10:30. So and the client needed to travel all the way from Ibadan in Nigeria to Lagos in Lagos, Nigeria. So I don't know, some sort of traffic hit the client's back, the passenger back. So the passenger got there after check-in and the plane was about leaving. Now the passenger knew, oh, now I'm at fault. Will I have to buy another ticket? So the passenger decided to lay claim that the ticket was fake. Do you see that now? This ticket is fake. Called the agent who sold it, who is also a partner. He said, this ticket you gave me is fake. Now, the agent did not panic. The agent did not scream. The agent did not say. The agent simply said, the ticket you are holding is valid. Why? Because before the agent, who is our partner, who has his own an online traveling portal, just like the A-Skies we are seeing now, has checked, has used the PNR to check. So he has checked and the ticket is confirmed. So there's absolutely nothing the passenger will do. So the passenger was, it's fake, it's not real. Then what the agency did was they just asked the passenger to join them on a video call and they checked it for the passenger and the passenger confirmed that it was legit, it was valid. That was when the passenger now opened up that the reason why he said it was fake at first was because he came late and did not allow him to enter. So he was seeking as a ticket. So the PNR is the most important part of every ticket. The live wire of every flight itinerary is the PNR, right? Because when you buy your ticket from A-Skies, for instance, for those who want to buy cheap flights, A-Skies got you. So when you buy from A-Skies, remember A-Skies is an online traveling portal. So he sells all the airlines in the world. He sells their ticket cheaply and cheaper than them. So when you get to buy from him, why will you just want to trust his service? You can still go and check. We are going to do that shortly. I just pray time allows us because it's looking as if we got less than an hour more to go. Now the next is the visa and passport requirements here. Mm-hmm. So you find out on the ticket, the person, most cases, the passenger and passport's number will be there, right? So that if there are emergencies, they can easily reach out and find out. So the same as emergency contact. Emergency contact is the contact details for the airline embassy or travel agents in case of an emergency, God forbid, a crash. During the days of Sosoliso air crash, sometimes in 2008 in Nigeria, they could actually tell all the passengers on board, and they could still reach all the passengers, at least, let's say 80% of the passengers, because there was an emergency contact. So they could start calling those persons, the emergency lines, oh, so XYZ has happened, blah, blah, blah. Right? Now, importance of a flight itinerary. Let's look at the importance. It's a very good stuff to carry. Now, one, travel planning. So now it helps when it comes to planning your trip, because the itinerary will give you an organized view of your trip. Do you get that now? And that will also help you to know if you'll be needing accommodation. For instance, if you have a layover time of 24 hours, certainly you want to relax a bit in an hotel. So the flight itinerary tells you that. Proof of travel, right? That's why in most cases, for some of us who have undertaken visa courses and visa classes, you get to agree with me that before every time you are making application for visas or entering into a country, you must have what? A flight ticket, though it's probably called the dummy ticket. Some persons, they have used it in the past. So dummy ticket. So let me just say what dummy ticket is. A dummy ticket is a confirmable ticket that is not paid for in full. Yeah. So it's not paid for in full. It's not a good practice only for the purpose of what? Visa application. Because when you're making visa application or when you are entering a country, you must have an evidence of return. And when you're making application, there must be an attested proof that you are truly in for this, because you have actually purchased your ticket. But in the case of visa application, you don't have to go buy a literally real ticket that you have to pay thousands and hundreds of thousands of Nigerian naira, depending on your currency. So now what do? You need a ticket. You need a dummy ticket. The dummy ticket is confirmable in the sense that if they check on the airline website, it's confirmed. It's there. Your details will be there. But it's not being paid for in full. This service is only open to IATA holders. We've talked about IATA in the past. We've talked about how to get IATA. And we even did a practical section on how you can start an IATA service where you register yourself and register other people on IATA. We've talked about that in the past. But only IATA holders can issue such tickets, right? So for some of us who are here, those who are on the white label, when it comes to issuing of the dummy ticket, you can just reach out immediately to us. We'll get that for you done. But when it comes to, it comes at a fee, right? But in the case of hotel is free. We give dummy hotels for free. You don't have to pay for that. So that has been established, or that has been said previous sections before now. So an itinerary will tell us the proof of travel. It also helps us to manage time, because there will be time. You actually know when you arrive, when you leave, depart, and all. So that will actually makes for not missing connections, so that you don't miss connections, right? And beyond that, also now financial planning. It also helps you to know how to plan financial wise, because the cost of ticket varies, right? The same destination, every airline has their fee. We are going to see a practical section on that. Every airline got their fee. So it's not the same fee for every airline. So depending on the airline you want, there is a flight fare fee for each. Do you get that now? So the essence of the itinerary is to give you an overview guide on what to do or what you actually need. So that will actually guide you. Do you see that now? So if there is no overview, you don't know how much you'll be spending. For instance, Lagos to Gatwick. Yeah, it's pre-believed that airfares is cheaper. That's not true. They are even one of the most expensive, though celebrated in Nigeria, that they are cheap. That's not still true. So now, airfares, Kenya Airways, Ethiopian, Turkish, those same persons go to the same destination, but on different fee. The fare for those same destination on this airline varies. Yeah. The reason is because I think that has been taught several sections before this. When we're doing our IATA section, I did get to establish a fact that IATA gives everybody the rates. Everybody goes back to sell at their own rates. Yeah, I've established that. And that still makes big sense. So now it will help you to plan financially. Do you get that now? So, but if there is no itinerary, you will not know the cost you want. A moment. So you won't be able to tell the cost, right? And that will not be a good one. Okay. Well, then how to obtain a flight itinerary? There are not just two ways. The only way to obtain a flight itinerary is buy from our white label users. That's best, I would say. Buy from our white label users. Let me just call some of the white label users who are in this section. If I don't get to remember you, apologies. Yeah, buy from A Skies. A Skies is a white label user. Buy from Fly at Rise, the person of Mrs. Ogecha Jare. Yeah, Mr. Isaac, I can't remember the website. Okay, buy from Kuzang. Kuzang is also a white label user. So buy from them.
They fly.
Okay, sorry again.
They fly.
Okay, yeah, buy from him. Queen Gisani. I can't remember your own name. Can you help me out? Okay.
Fit traveler
Okay,
tours.
Okay, wow.
Thanks, travel
Okay.
up.
Wow, so
Thanks.
amazing.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Remember
Pangs
thanks.
Travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pangs. So buy from Pangs, buy from everybody who has mentioned their name. And for some of you who are here who don't have, you too can get your white label and get started almost immediately. So now, where to buy flights, how to get flight itinerary. Just buy from all those people we just called now. Go to their website, you'll get cheap flights, right? You'll sure get cheap flight from them. So let's go into to talk about now. I would have loved us to talk about that since, but time will fail us. We don't have all the time. So first, I'm going to show us some flight tickets. Purchase flight tickets from some of our partners. Yeah, from some of our partners. Then after that, I will get to go over. We'll get to go over to see how we can also get to start booking. We are going to learn that as well, so that everyone who is here, you too can start buying flight tickets on your own. Okay, so I'm trying to open just a few, maybe just a few ones, so that you get to see all of these things I just said. Okay, let me just get to present 33333. Okay. Okay, let me get the last one. Okay, great now. So now, let me share my screen. If you can see my screen, great. Can you guys see my screen? Sorry, is my screen visible?
No, not visible.
No, sir.
Okay, let me
I can
just
see your screen.
I can see your screen. I can see your screen.
Okay, awesome. For those who can't see my screen, apologies. Just kindly zoom
I can't see
on
it.
your
Oh.
phone screen.
I can see it.
Or okay, if you can, some can't. If you can't, just zoom in. You should be able to see my screen. Okay, what you have here is a flight itinerary. Now, this agency is T-Link Fly. Yeah, T-Link Fly is also a white label partner. Let me show you a site. So T-Link Fly is also a white label partner. So she keeps issuing tickets. So the samples I just gave you now, the one I'll be presenting are from some of our past current or active white label users. So this is our website. So can you see it's a link? So when you buy tickets from her, for instance, the ticket will be issued to you in our business name. So this is our logo. This is our website address. Now, I did talk about PNR. This is the PNR. Do you see this now? So now this is a PNR. This is a passenger name.
Sir, we
record.
can't see your screen. We can't see your screen, sir, please.
Okay, let me get to share again. It's fine. Is it better now?
Yes, it's cool.
Is my screen?
It's still not coming up.
Fine. So now,
No comment.
okay,
The screen up.
is come up. Is it visible now?
No, it's not visible.
How about
It
now?
is, but the other details are not visible.
It's visible on my own end.
Okay. Okay, great now. Okay, great. So now this is another user, this Tomobok Fly. So Tomobok Fly is also one of our active users. He has been issuing. Now the next part I'm sharing, this so-called Travels. So-called Travel is still one of our white label users. So they sell tickets at their own rates, just like every other person on the current platform. Now this section, you sell at your own rate. The ticket will be issued in your business name. You sell to the entirety of the globe and you sell cheaply. So let me just use this to explain. Now, I said every itinerary we carry what is known as the PNR. If you can see, this is PNR, right? PNR. Do you see that now? So this is PNR. And outside the fact that it's PNR, it still gets to, the PNR is what you use for confirming the ticket, right? Now, the passenger information, if you can see, this is the passenger's information. Do you see that now? Now, the ticket number is there. Now, the airline that issued by, what airline is it? You see the airline. What airline is the client flying with? Air Peace. P is for Air Peace. Do you understand? And you can see the flight itinerary has where the person is leaving to where the person is going to. So this person leaves Warri in Nigeria and travels to Abuja in Nigeria using Air Peace. And I did say that it will carry the airline name as well as the airline number. So can you see this P4 7211? So this is the flight number for the plane. So you can easily track, you can easily check if there are any malfunction to news. Maybe when the news said it's P47111, that's not the same airline. So you just have to. So it tells the time, the departure time. There's the departure time. It tells the arrival time. It tells the location.
Hello? Hello? Mr. Welch, you are on mute.
Yeah, just hold on. Coming.
Is it better now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we are ready.
Yes,
We
I can
can
hear
hear
you.
you. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Now, so the next one we are looking, this is an itinerary, Lagos to Joburg. So we can see verified. So all in this now tells the client, okay, he's traveling from Lagos to Joburg. There is the airline check-in reference. We are going to check all of this ticket to see if they are valid, right? And beyond that, now it tells you the airline. So Tag Angola Airline. So this tells you that the airline this person will be boarding is Tag Angola, and you can see the flight number is there, operated by Tag Angola Airlines is also stated. And what is the departure city? Lagos. Lagos, Nigeria. Can you see the time? 20th of September at 1:25. Now, let me also get to tell you something about time. When it comes to airline operates a 24-hour base time. Do you see that now? 24-hour base time. So that should be remembered. But some airlines operate on 12 hours, but major airlines operate on 24 hours. So 24 hours means you count 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So when it's 16, you should know that it's 4 p.m. Is that correct? So you should just get to put that to heart. So now, this person leaves at 1:25 p.m. Lagos and arrives at Luanda and Angola at 4:45. And this is the passenger's name. Kolawole Sunday is the passenger's name. Now, can you see the checked-in baggage? 2 bags. So he's allowed to carry 2 bags times 23 kg each. And if he decides to carry handbag, he can do that. 1 hand baggage included. Now, from the section earlier, I said every airline must get to their destination. Remember, this person is going to South Africa, not Angola. But because he or she boarded Angola airline, the airline have to first get to Luanda. Do you see that now? So when it arrives Luanda at 4:45, let's see, the next time the airline will be leaving is 10:20 p.m. So that invariably tells you that, sorry, 10:20 a.m. The flight leaves at 1:25 a.m., sorry, on Friday, 20th September, arrives Luanda at 4:45 a.m. Now, when they arrive Luanda at 4:45 a.m., the next departure time from Luanda to Joburg is 10:20 a.m. So invariably now, those person have to wait for about 4 hours, 25 minutes before their departure. So that is the waiting time, the layover or the stopover. We are going to see that now. Now, the airline leaves at 10:20 exact from Luanda in Angola and gets to Joburg in South Africa. So this is just how it works. But first, before we go to do some practicals on how to start searching for itinerary and some of the rules that applies, right? Now, how do you verify every ticket? There are 3 things you need to verify a ticket. You need the airline check-in reference. It has been stated that is the booking number or the PNR. This is it. The next is the client's surname. Now, if you get to look at this, this is the surname of this passenger. Kolawole is the surname. Now, the next also now is the airline. So what airline is he or she going with? Tag Angola. So let's go to Tag Angola website and verify if that ticket is valid so that our client will not run into trouble, right? So I'm trying to visit the Tag Angola website. So I'm sharing my screen. It's still coming up. Okay, let me just tag Angola. Let me use Google search. Okay, great. It's coming up. Okay, now we're there now. I said every time you sell a ticket or when you issue ticket for our active B2B partners who have their own white label solution, every time you sell tickets, when you issue the ticket to your client, you can also check to see if that ticket is valid or not, right? And you can also guide your client also to go and check so that they will not be thinking you gave them something that was not real, right? So now from the case study we have, let's go back to our case study. From our case study, this person is going to South Africa from Lagos using TAC Angola Airline. So I said we need three things. We need the passenger name on record, name record. We need the passenger last name, and our passenger last name here is Kolawole, and we need the airline to visit the airline website. So the airline website is TAC Angola. So we're in TAC Angola. So how do I check if my ticket is valid? You go to my bookings. Note, this client did not buy this ticket from TAC Angola. The client bought the ticket from our partner website, Tomobok Fly. That was where this client bought this ticket. Do you get that now? So it was not from TAC Angola. But every time you buy ticket from any of our white label users, or you as a white label user, you sell tickets, be rest assured that it's valid. But if you still want to further check the validity, simply go to the airline website. The moment the ticket is issued, the record automatically is captured on the airline website. The reason is because IATA regulates all of these things. Do you get that now? So once the ticket is issued from an IATA consolidator or an IATA licensor, the ticket is recorded on IATA system. And because it's captured on IATA system, automatically reflects on the airline website. So now the first thing is asking us is the booking code. Now, what is the booking code? The booking code is a PNR. Let's go back to the section. Let's get the booking code. So the booking code for this flight is this. Let's copy it. Okay, that is the booking code. Now let's get back to where we want to check. Let's enter the code, Control V. Do you see that now? The next is the client last name. And our client's last name is Kolawole. Can you see that? Kolawole is our client last name. So let me just copy this. Okay. So if the ticket is valid, when we click to confirm, we see the client information on TAC Angola website. But if it's not valid, it will not display. So let's watch. So I'll click confirm. So I'm trying to confirm the validity now. So now TAC Angola said, we're unable to find this confirmation number. Yeah, usually for TAC Angola, when you get to search at first, they always have this case. So let's repeat the process. Our passenger last name is Kolawole. Let's get his booking number. So his passenger name record is this. So let's go paste it back. Let's search. So here we are now, Eureka. So now can you see that TAC Angola tells us the cost of the ticket, right? What we have here is booking confirmed. Can you see that the booking is confirmed? So this client will fly. And can you see the costs of the ticket? Now, $529 is not the true cost of the ticket. This is what TAC Angola will sell, right? TAC Angola. If TAC Angola was to sell this ticket, this is the price that we sell it. But this client got it cheaper than the client. Do you see that now? He got it, sorry, our B2B user got it cheaper than TAC Angola. I could remember the day the ticket was issued, I think he made about 70-something thousand that day. I could remember. So that is how the system works. So he got it way cheaper than TAC Angola. Now, below this are the informations. So can you see now? Date of issue was 30th of August, so it's recent. The reservation name is this. The GDS was blah, 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 TAC Angola, blah. Okay, that's fine. That actually shows that this ticket is valid. And below here, you can see the contact information. Just like I said, contact information, the client's name, e-ticket number. You can edit traveler details and all. And beyond that, also now you can manage your booking, additional services. We did talk about additional services. So can you see now? Additional services include baggage. If you want to add bags, more bags, you can. If you want to get sport equipment, you can. You want to place order for special meals. You want to place order for special meals, you can. And if someone is visual impaired, you can add an assistance. Do you understand? Usually they are free. Wheelchair, if the passenger requires wheelchair, you can. The passenger cannot manage the steps or long distances, you can add that. The passenger is completely mobile, you can also add that. But those passengers is and hat, so we know adding it. It's free. But when it comes to meals, you have to select meals. Can you see? Oh, they are free. I did talk about Muslim Allah meal, if for those who remember. So you add your meals so that as at the time they are going to be serving you meal, they are going to give you your preferred meal choice. So nobody's going to serve you what you don't want.
Sir, I've missed some parts, sir. I've missed some parts because I was logged out at some point. So
apologies to that, but I did feel the section is recorded. Maybe at the end of the section, you can just watch the recorded version because we have not even done practicals yet and we have limited time to go. Okay, let's dive into the screen now. Let's do some practicals because of our time, because we see our hotel, we see our trip, how to plan a trip. For someone who is traveling, going for a tour, how do you plan that trip so that he or she can get an approval? Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen. Here we are on ASky's website. ASky's issue flight tickets, sells flight tickets globally, and issues flight tickets to any destination in the world. And ASky's, the CEO of the ASky's group, is in this section. Mr. Godwin, can you say hi to all of us?
Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm here. Good evening.
Great. That's so lovely.
Sir.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
I don't know what else was heard. I'm saying hello to everyone.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi,
Hello to you, sir.
Hello,
Great.
Mr. Godwin. You're welcome.
Yeah, great now. So this is Mr. Godwin's platform, ASky's. So we are going to do some practicals. Let's see how it works. Now, when it comes to purchase of flight tickets, I would advise you take note. Flight tickets is a very lucrative business. It has actually made people richer in shorter time than most professions because in 10 minutes, you can make 150K. Recently, just today, someone in Nigeria, she used to be a former participant in our other section. She actually chatted back that after the ticket was issued, she'd actually made 223,000 today. Can you see that? In less than 10 minutes, after adding a markup, everything, what she made today was 223,000. I still remember someone, I don't think is in this section, he sold the tickets and that day he made 278,000. That was on the 30th of August. So it's lucrative. If one keeps getting more customers, if one keeps getting more clients, more passengers coming, it's a very lucrative business. And it can still get you into trouble. Because if you issue the wrong tickets, if you get the wrong informations, if you don't get to do the right thing, you can run into trouble. Because if your client is going to London, for instance, you end up buying a ticket for South Africa, the London in South Africa, that can get you into trouble. Do you see that now? So it's very salient and very fragile, highly profitable, but most troublesome. You know, the risks, the level of the risk tells you the amount you make. So it has very high risk margin, in as with same as high profit margin. So some persons have actually run into debt of 5 million. Yeah, I know someone He's our partner. He sold a ticket for Guangzhou in China. Humorously, for some returning participants, you must have heard me say the story. And on that ticket, he only made 157,000. So you can see he didn't make so much. And the total cost of the ticket was 3.97 million. Now, he sold the ticket. The passengers were supposed to leave. The departure time was 12 noon. He sold the ticket by 8 a.m. on that same day. Now, the passenger got back to him at 10 a.m. that he's not traveling again. Sorry, she's not traveling again. He said, why? She said that she has a feeling that the plane will crash. So you see that now. So, and because she has that feeling, she needs her money back. Let's get to also be informed. Some tickets are refundable, while some are not refundable. That's why we have what is known as fair rules. There are fair rules. So every ticket you are holding has its own fair rules. So if the fair rule says non-refundable, there's absolutely nothing anybody can do. So you have to also ask those questions vis-a-vis, so that when you're talking with your clients, you can tell them, oh, this ticket is not refundable, this ticket is refundable. But every ticket is changeable. Every ticket is alterable. You can change anything you want to change. You can correct anything. You can add bags. You can change dates. You can change time. But certain tickets are not refundable. So if you buy a refundable ticket, now the ticket he got is non-refundable, because between the time he issued the ticket to the time the client will fly is just 4 hours. Do you see that now? So even if you want to start writing back for refunds and all, will he ever get his refund within the space of 2 hours? No. So we have to be extremely careful. If you get to spell your passenger's name wrongly, you're in trouble. Because when they check on the passenger gives the check-in officer his or her passport. They enter the name on the passport, because the check-in officer will not collect the ticket. In most cases, we ask what's your name and your PNR. So if he or she says his name or her name is XYZ and you spelled XYZ wrongly, they'll check their system. They'll say, sorry, you can't fly. Your details are not captured. Whereas the agent or the partner has made mistake. If you make mistakes on the passenger's name, that ends it. Though it's alterable, it's correctable, but at a fee. In a case where the passenger was to travel on the 9th of September, okay, let's say 9th of December, you bought ticket for 9th of November, you thought the client was saying November, but you now buy December instead of November. If you still want to change, you will pay for it. Do you get that now? So when you are actually taking bookings, either for yourself or for your clients, you have to be at alert, because here you deal with millions. You could issue ticket for 10 million, 6 million, 5 million. I know if you run into trouble, in most cases, they'll ask you for a refund. Now you don't have 5 million tied up anywhere. You only made, let's say, 500,000 from this deal. So where will you go get the other parts? So you have to be careful. So let's go over the section now. For every ticket, there must be a destination. Flying from, that's the test. Where are you at the time? Which of the airports? So a client could tell you, I want to go from Nigeria to France. There is no such thing as Nigeria. Let's do it. If I type Nigeria, there is no such place as Nigeria. So you see that now. Or the client tells you, can you get me a ticket for United Kingdom? There is no such thing as United Kingdom. There is no such thing as United States. So everybody lives from a city to another city. Do you get that now? So someone is going to UAE, for instance, Lagos. Now, every city has what is known as IATA code, right? And it's most advised as a traveling consultant, you should know the code of all of the cities. But it's not so feasible, because even myself, I can't know the code for all of the cities. but you got Google. For every city you don't know, you can check Google for the code. Or better still, just enter the city name on the search bar. Let me show you something. If a client is going to Lagos, okay, let's say Abuja. Abuja is, the IATA code for Abuja is ABV. Can you see, when I entered ABV, can you see Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja shows up, right? But if you don't know this, go to Google, just type, what is the IATA code for XYZ city? It will tell you. Copy it. But if you don't have that luxury of time, just enter Abuja. When I typed Abuja, it still shows. So let's say we got a client who is traveling from Lagos. Lagos is LOS. LOS, Lagos came up. Or you can just type Lagos. But be careful when selecting, because certain cities, the reason why codes are better is because certain cities appear more than once. Do you see that? Let's do a demo. I type Sydney. Can you see, if I type Sydney, watch, there's Sydney in Canada, there's Sydney in Australia. Do you see this now? So if you're not so careful, the client wants to go to, I know someone who did this mistake. The client was actually going to Sydney in Canada, but because he said Sydney, that's why you should ask your client question, Sydney in which country? Don't just say Sydney. What country, please? Just say Sydney. And she ended up buying Sydney in Australia, while the client was going to Sydney in Canada. Do you see that now? So you need to be information specific with your clients. Don't just assume. Most clients don't know. So don't assume. And there's also Sydney, United States. Do you see this now? There are many Sydney. So if you don't take the time to ask questions to know the right one, you might end up losing money. So you have to take note of that. So Lagos, let's say the client is going to Dubai in UAE. The IATA code for Dubai is DXB. Can you see now? When I enter DXB, Dubai came up. Now, the next thing to ask next is it a return ticket or a one-way ticket? Do you get that now? Is it a return or a one-way? So how do you know that? Go here, one-way return. One-way means this person is not coming back. Round trip means this person is going on a particular day and is coming back on a particular day. Do you see that now? Check. Let's assume it's one way we are booking. The next is the class. Remember we talked about class. Is it economy? Is it economy premium? Is it business or first class? You should be specific with your clients. Sorry, what class are you boarding? The client says economy, buy economy. Business, go for business. Economy premium, go for economy premium. So now the next thing to check is the number of travelers. How many people are going to be traveling? Or how many people are you buying this ticket for? Adults begins from 12 years and above. Do you see that now? Child 2 to 11, infants below 2. So let's assume just one adult. That's why it is 1. Now, once all of this has been ascertained, you go to search. Departure date, let's say tomorrow, 5th, yeah, that's tomorrow. Okay, let's say this person is traveling on Saturday, 7th. Then the next is to click search. So when you click search, the system or the OTA portal will display a list of available airlines and their prices. Everybody is going to the same destination, but not the same fare. The first airline we have here is Qatar, right? So if you can see, let's get information about this. So this is the movement. On the 7th, at 6:35 p.m., the flight leaves Lagos and arrives at Doha in Qatar at 5:35 a.m. Now you can see everything is detailed. What is the flight class? Economy. Trip duration is 9 hours. So 9 hours simply means between Lagos to when the plane gets to Doha, they will be on air for 9 good hours. How many baggage is this client allowed to carry? 2 pieces. And I did say 2 pieces here means 2 times 23 kg. And note, if it's 2 pieces, it simply means you can carry personal items and handbags. And even if it's 0 pieces, you can still carry personal items and handbags. You won't be penalized for that. But in case where you need to carry a lot of items, ensure the ticket you are buying has 2 pieces. Now, when they get to Doha at 5:35 a.m., there is a transit of 3 hours, 30 minutes. This is a layover or stopover time. So it simply means at Doha here, they are going to wait for 3 hours, 30 minutes before they will check them in to depart Doha to DSB in Dubai, Doha in Qatar to DSB in UAE or Dubai in UAE. They leave at 09:05 a.m. and they will arrive at 11:25 a.m. And the trip duration is 1 hour, 20 hours. Sorry, 20 minutes rather. And the baggage allowed is 2 pieces. And you can see the airline here is Qatar. So this is one stop, the same airline. The next is African World Air. So you can see for Qatar it's 874,293. So let's assume, let's check other airlines before we go to book. So African World Air is Ghana Airline, Accra Airline. So remember I said every airline must go back to its home country. When we looked at Qatar, Qatar went back to its home country, which is Qatar, which is Doha in Qatar. So when you are buying from African World Air goes back to its home country, which is Ghana, right? So it goes to Kotoka Airport in Accra. So for this now, from Lagos to Accra, watch it, it's 09:10 a.m. to 09:10 a.m. Let me ask a question. Now, whoever that gets this answer will be given a free white label software if you don't have. So I will call you at random. You are going to give me answer. But this is a question. From Lagos to Accra, someone in Lagos leaves at 09:10 a.m. and still gets to Ghana at 09:10 a.m. I'll pick someone at random to tell me why it's that so. The person leaves Lagos 09:10 a.m. arrives Kotoka Airport in Accra 09:10 a.m. Franklin, are you there?
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Okay, now the view is
someone is have
okay.
Different.
Oh, great. That's awesome. So Ghana is GMC plus 0, while Nigeria is GMC plus 1. So at the time the person was boarding, so the conveyor should take, Franklin, do you have a white label software?
I don't know, but we have a white label app. I will ask my manager. I'm the CEO.
Okay, great. And if you have, it's so sad that I won't give you again.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, it's fine. But if you don't have, we are giving you for free. Okay, yes, great. So the reason is because, okay. Accra has GMT plus 0. So 9:10 a.m. in Nigeria is 8:10 a.m. in Ghana because Ghana, Accra is plus 0, Nigeria is plus 1. Do you get that now? So if you watch this now, when this person buys African World Air, the leaves from Lagos to Accra, because every airline must get to its home country or to its partnering country. Now, when they get to Accra, they are going to wait for 8 hours, 10 minutes in Kotoka Airport. So you have to explain this to your clients. Now, after this now, they will now leave. They got there at 9:10 a.m. They will now leave Accra at 05:20 p.m. Then from Accra to Dubai at 6:10 a.m. It's 8 hours. It's 8 hours 50 minutes. They left at 5:20 p.m. and they arrived Dubai at 06:10 a.m. So these are what the itinerary we carry. It will tell you the class, it will tell you the trip duration, it will tell you the flight, and it will tell you the flight number in most cases. At the time of issuance, you see the flight number. And for this airline is connecting. Look out for something. When they get to African World Air, when African World Air takes them to Accra, African World Air does not go to Dubai. They are going to use a connecting flight, Emirates. So they will now board Emirates. Emirates is what takes them from Kotoka to DSB in Dubai. So this is actually how an itinerary is. So for you to make bookings, let's say we are going with the first one because this is cheaper. But before I do this, let's do a demo. Let's go to Lagos Surrey. Let's see if Airpeace will be cheaper, because Airpeace can only go to Gatwick. The IATA code for Gatwick is LGW. LGW. So that is Gatwick, London. Note, Gatwick is in London and it's not Heathrow. So you have to know, because in London, there are many airports. The same for America, the same for Canada. Okay, let's check this. Let's say maintain the same 7th. So we are trying to check. Okay, now on A-Skies, if we are to go with A-Skies, Lagos to London is, Egypt Air has it for 1 million. Let's see, Egypt. Yeah, we got Airpeace here. Airpeace is 1,442,000. So can you see these guys are hell expensive? Because Egypt Air on that same itinerary fare, Egypt Air has it for 1,073,798 naira, 1010 kobo. So can you see that? But note, every time this ticket is sold, A-Skies have their markup on this ticket. They make money from this ticket automatically. Do you get that now? So for this now, there are 2 stops. It's not 1 stop. Let's get to look at the itinerary. So Egypt Air has to go back to its home country, which is Cairo. Get back to Cairo in Egypt. Now Egypt Air will now board to Castrop. Then from Castrop, it now goes to Heathrow. So you can see there are multiple airlines here, Egypt Air and An Air. So if your client does not actually want to take this, you have to advise them adequately, telling them the available airlines that exist. But let's say we want to book this. I'll click book now. So when I click book now, it takes me to where I will enter my information, the client or passenger's information. And when the passenger is done, he or she will now select any of the available payment gateways of his or her choices and proceed to pay, and the ticket will be issued. So first name, let's use random name, random informations, because we are not issuing this tickets. So we'll just get to use random informations. The essence of this is just to give us a demo, because we are lagging behind and our time is fast spent and is thoroughly against us. Okay, let's assume these are the client's informations we have entered. We want to pay with bank transfer. We click to agree on terms and click confirm booking. Okay, it's asking for passport ID number. Let's just use random details. Okay, let's say we have entered all of that, confirm booking. So it will take us to the booking page where we are going to pay. So can you see now, proceed to pay, but we are not paying. This is just an idea. This is just an overview of how the system looks like. So for those who are on board, I'm sure you have experiences, you know how these things work. Those who are not yet on board, if you come on board the white label, you'll be having a system like this where you sell tickets, issue them your own business name, and sell at your own rates directly from the IATA console. But this is not time for the white label section. I think we just got a few minutes left and I still have to catch up with other meetings. So let me just open the floor for questions. You have a question to ask. Sorry, we were not able to discuss hotel itinerary and trip itinerary, but most likely maybe in our tomorrow section, we'll look at that. So if you got a question, kindly signify by just putting up your hand. You'll be called upon, then you'll be given the privilege to ask. Okay, I got the first person, Akintola Joanne.
Good evening. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, greetings to you.
Greetings to you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Please, I would like to ask 3 questions. And one of my questions is that I would like to know which website can we check items to be carried along when we are traveling? Because in my previous experience, there were some items that were collected from me while departing. So I lost something and I couldn't know how to retrieve them back, and that was it. So I want to know if there is a website or how we can know the things that we should go with and not go with. And my second question is that how do we do booking that generate points to travel for free? And what are the tasks to be done to earn those points? And number three, my question is what is a level ticket? Those are the questions I have on the floor. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, number 3 is what, please?
What is a level ticket? I've heard something, they call it a level ticket that is different from the normal ticket that is being booked. I just want to understand what kind of a ticket is called a level ticket. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
First, let me answer that.
Answer that.
Let's unmute,
Let's
please.
unmute, please.
Okay, great. Now I think it's better. Now, for every time you want to buy tickets, there's what is called the fare rules, right? So what the fare rules does is it tells you what items you should carry and what items you should not carry, right? But by standard, the following items are prohibited. Any item that is harmful is prohibited. Drugs are prohibited. And getting to carry liquid substances are also prohibited. Liquid substances like body lotion, creams, perfumes, body deodorants, a bit to that are still prohibited. You get that now. So, but for every time you want to book, whether as a partner, your clients can easily ask you to tell them the fare rules. You can generate the fare rules easily. Just reach out, you get the fare rules for every ticket. So that's not a case. So with the help of the fare rules, you can actually tell what tickets, what items are permitted or restricted items or items that are not needed. And in some cases, if you are buying from a particular airline, you can simply go to the airline website and check restricted items. Or when you log in, let's go back. When you actually confirm your ticket, you can actually get to see restricted items on every airline website. So items they don't permit you to come with, items you are not allowed to carry in, you get to see all of that, right? So that will give you an edge before you leave for the airport. You can actually tell items you should not carry. But usually drugs are not allowed. If you are carrying maybe a sick person, you need to take your drugs, then you should actually get a medical prescription from a registered hospital as to why you have some of the drugs, maybe headaches, pills, whatever. All of that should simply be what's stated so that you don't get to be questioned. Now, secondly, how do you earn points? Now, points or loyalty programs are programs that are set up by users. Do you get that now? Specific airlines set them up. Just a way of saying thank you to their active patronage or passengers who patronize them. So virtually every airline, it's just an incentive program to get people on their platform. Do you get that now? So, and before you could actually earn so much points to now get a free ticket, you must have bought several or more than one times before you can actually get points that will be equated to the fare. Example, KLM. Even some of the partners can decide to give you a coupon for that. It's just an incentive and it's kind of a business strategy. Now, on a level ticket, the short or in brief, when they said a level ticket, what level ticket simply means is a fare or a ticket fare that exists in different prices as a result of class or cabin class. Do you get that now? So what it simply means is the levels or the fare levels or the fare class Do you understand? It's actually what brings about what is called the level ticket. So now we are all going to Dubai, for instance, on board the same flight. Somebody bought that ticket for 500,000. Another person got the same ticket for 700,000. Another person got the ticket for 900,000. Another got the ticket for 1.5 million, still on the same economy class. Do you get that now? So that is what is said to be leveled. Because many factors affect level. We might not have time to talk about that. First factor that affects it is a fare level within the same cabin class. We are all in economy, for instance, but we didn't buy it at the same rate because of the different people who sold it to us, right? Because when you buy from A agency, it could be more expensive than B agency, or it could be cheaper than C agency. So where you buy it could bring about the level ticket. So when we say level ticket, it's simply a ticket that is sold for a particular class but comes in variance to rate or fare rate or prices. So that is just the much because of time, because we have actually gone beyond our time. Thank God we don't have so much questions.
Thank God we don't have so much questions.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So thanks, Adekunle. If you're there, can you just ask your question?
Yeah, my question is everything when you shared your screen, I'm unable to get the screen. So everything that has been practiced, I didn't get it, or I can't get it. So my question is, I know this section is being recorded. Will I be able to get everything when we're watching the video?
Certainly, you'll get everything. And if after watching you don't understand, you can still reach out for questions. Sure, you'll get answers.
Okay. Okay.
Great. So I think the last question for this section is Mr. Wasiu will be the last person. So, but now let's get to ask Mr. Isaac can ask his question.
Okay. I want to ask where you stop at making payment on flight. When we get to that
Okay.
place, what do we now call our boarded person to help us make payment? Do we now call?
No, when you get there, okay, great. Now, no, you don't have to call us. You proceed to make the payment. A-Skies, everything about this platform is A-Skies. Let's go back. Everything you are seeing here is A-Skies. There's no Trapsify anywhere. Do you see this now? So nobody knows this is Trapsify, though it's a white label software, but only people who are using it knows that it's Trapsify, right? So you don't call, you proceed to make your payments. You click proceed, and when you click proceed, it takes you to where you make your payments, if it's been linked. You see that now. So you make your payments and you get it. But I think at this time now, we are supposed to have had his own bank account. Yeah, I think that was what was to be added prior to this time, right? So you proceed to make payment, click to proceed, you pay into their bank account. If you are using Paystack, you pay with your debit card or whatever mechanism, whatever available payment options are available on their platform, you use that to pay. And by the time you pay, you will get your ticket issued. When they confirm and receive your payment, your ticket will be issued. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. So let's take the last question for this section. Mr. Wasiu, can you ask your question, please?
Okay, good evening, sir. Hello,
Yeah,
please,
great
can
to
you
see
hear
you,
me?
ma'am. Sure, I can. Good
Okay,
evening.
please, I want to ask, how are we going to know if the ticket is refundable or not refundable, and how are we going to apply for the refund?
Okay, now, the refund nature of a ticket is done in two ways. If you're a client, do nothing. Reach out to the platform where you got the ticket. They will help you out to the refund. And before you know whether it's refundable or not refundable, you can ask that, right? If you ask the platform, they can send you the fare rules. So in the fare rules, you'll see if it is refundable or not refundable. So in the case where a ticket is refundable and you actually want a refund, maybe on the return leg, you want a refund, you do nothing. Some airlines allow you to do that on your own. While some airlines, you can't do that on your own. You have to reach out to the platform. So if you bought the ticket from A Skies, you have to reach back to A Skies and ask them that you need a refund. So A Skies actually know what to do. So what they'll do is A Skies will request for the refund, and the refund will be sent, or the refund will be sent back to you, or sent whatever medium you want to take them. So, but first, to ascertain the rules that applies, all you need is to request for the fair rules. If the platform sends you the fair rules, from the fair rules now, you can know whether it gets refundable or not. And if it's refundable and you need refund, you don't have to do anything. Just reach out to the platform and they're using their support system, then they'll get you a refund and the refund will be sent. So that is actually how it works.
Okay, sir. If I get you right, you said we should reach out to the platform we are using. That means we have our white label from Transify, we're going to reach out to you.
Okay, now
Get our
those who have
refund.
their white label, yeah, if you are a white label user, yeah, you can reach out to us for the refund, right? But you know, a paying client does not know you are using Trustify. Is that correct?
Exactly.
The paying
Yes.
client is only seen. I think you're also one of our white label user.
Yes,
What's
sir.
your website?
NAVS Global.
NAVS Global, correct. So NAVS Global is on
Yeah.
advice from NAVS Global and is requesting for refund. When you go to NAVS
Okay.
Global, there is no Trustify anywhere. So nobody knows it's Trustify. This is NAVS Global. Let me make light to share your screen, to share my screen displaying your website. So this is NAVS Global website where you can buy cheap and affordable tickets. So nobody knows it's Trustify. Only NAVS Global knows this. So when the client asks for fair rules, send that to you almost immediately. When the client asks for refund, you do not say, you just reach back to us and we process the refund for you. And if you got any issue, maybe date change, you want to correct name, you want to do any of those things, if you can't do them on the airline website, you can simply reach back to us and we effect all of that at no cost. Especially, except if there will be an additional cost, maybe for changes in the dates, that will be disclosed, but the service is completely free. So I don't know if that answers your question, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. So without much ado, thanks so much once again for giving me audience.
I want to ask a question.
Thank you for being there.
Please, I want to ask a question.
Okay, kindly, please do.
Yeah, please. For some of us that came late, who is there a recording for this session?
Yes, there is.
Okay. So we are going to get a recording and watch it from the start because I didn't join from the very beginning.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
So to
Thank
answer
you.
your question now, okay, great. Now you're most welcome. So thanks once again, everyone. So we meet tomorrow, and tomorrow promises
Thank
to
you
be
so
great.
much,
So
Mr. West.
do avail yourself the opportunity to participate.
We enjoyed
Thanks so
your
much, Mr.
presentation.
Godwin.
Thank you so much, Mr. West. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
It's a fruitful session.
Certainly it is. Thanks so much. So avail yourself for tomorrow's section, because in tomorrow's section, I will be giving a free bonus. I mean, those who are here who don't have the white label software, if you are here, you don't have the white label software, I should give out to a few persons at no cost incentive bonus for participating.
Sorry, I don't have it.
So tomorrow to participate adequately so that you can get the white label software. Okay, it's fine. We meet tomorrow and God willing, the soft great. Those who don't have, we'll give to a few. So you stand a chance tomorrow to get the white label software. And tomorrow promises to be gainful and impactful. And by tomorrow, an extra bonus will be added to the section. We'll talk about a little about IATA. I don't understand. Some people who took the IATA class have not done anything about it. There was only one participant so far who participated in one of the sections on the IATA, who made the attempt to go get IATA. And our platform is Gifted Trips. Yeah, I think she's the only student or the only participant from the IATA class who has been able to get that. So other persons who have not done same, so put in energy, give it your best shot so that you can actually hold at least a standard IATA license for the African market. Thanks once again. And this time, bye-bye.